So welcome everyone. This is our second community call for Kyber. I am a community ambassador for Kyber. I run these calls. We kind of focus these obviously around the community as well as governance, just so we can get together. We're thinking of doing them once a month, just so we can, talk about ongoing things in the governance, and that type of stuff. KyberDAO. So. I believe we last met would have been early September, so a little over a month since we last met, and a lot of stuff has gone on. We got a lot of stuff to go over today to share, and again, since it is a community call, at any time, if you want to say add anything that I'm discussing or something completely separate, at any time, just feel free. You can chime in or bring something up to discuss. So we can go over some of the highlights, I suppose. So we had 7 epochs completed successfully so far. And if you don't know an epoch, it's a 2-week period. You can find more about that on kyber.org if you're not familiar. We've had over 50 million KNC staked so far, 55.6 million actually to be exact. There is over 9,000 on-chain votes over these 7 epochs, which is pretty amazing. We look at this on-chain governance, and not even just for Kyber, but for other protocols. And, oftentimes it's like, at least me personally, it's kind of underwhelming how much, people actually participate in this kind of stuff. So it's just really good to see, these amount of votes and activity from the users. So that's a really great thing to see. We've had over $1 million in ETH alone distributed for rewards. So this is going to be the reward that you get for staking your KNC and voting. And so over $1 million worth of ETH. There's been over $360,000 in rebates given to Fed price reserves. This is part of the network fee. How some go to the stakers for the rewards for staking. Other rebates are given to reserves, who are also known as like the liquidity providers. They're the ones providing all the liquidity to trade. And then on top of that, there's been over $140,000 in KNC burned. And now, of course, this is just for the KyberDAO. There's been many more KNC burned before KyberDAO was in existence. And other than that, October has still been a great month. I remember like 6 months ago, a year ago, the numbers of volume we were pushing were great at the time. But I mean, October alone, we've had over $100 million in volume across the Kyber network, and so even that, like, given 6 months, compared to 6 months ago, 8 months ago, like it's great to see. Lots of growth there still. So really good stuff there. Moving on from the highlights, before I do, real quick, does anyone want to jump in quick, mention anything about any of the highlights or any comments? Okay. And I do want to just point out, I think maybe every call, just kind of like, so everyone's at least just aware, the current network fee. So it's actually 0.1%, and the ratio is split up between 6.2% burn, 67.3% reward, which is what's given to the stakers, and rebates, which is what's given to liquidity providers or reserves, is at 26.48%. And these are percentages of the fee that's taken that's going to be distributed. So on kyber.org, there's been quite a lot of UI and UX improvements, continuously working on that. It's really important that we obviously want to make staking not only as easy as possible, but just like secure, quick. We just want it to be a good experience overall. So and one of those is improving the UI and user experience. So I'm continuously doing that. So by some of the things that have been changed is you can actually adjust the gas. A lot of us have seen tons of stuff with gas recently, with it going super high, going back low, high. It's just all over the place, and so it can be a pain. So luckily, now you can adjust your gas options on kyber.org if you're just worried, like, hey, don't want to send it too low, or maybe I want to send a low fee, well, now you can do that. So a second update to the website would be a claim all button. So previously, say you were voting in multiple epochs, say 4 epochs, you have rewards claimed. Before, you would have to go and redeem or claim 4 separate times for each of those epochs. So that, what that looks like is go to the website, claim it 4 times, create 4 transactions, pay the gas for 4 transactions. Well, now with the claim all button, you can literally just one click, one transaction, claim all, done. So that's really good. I mean, right now it's not a huge deal, but like say 20 epochs from now, you don't really want to be sitting there clicking 20 buttons over and over and over again. So really good improvement there. You can claim up to like the last 12 epochs. So and then you can always repeat it. So if you had like 24 epochs, it's 2 claims rather than 24. So that's great. In addition to this, we have voting reminders, which I will be setting up kind of as a community thing. So this is mostly just, it's going to be like a Google Calendar most likely schedule. And basically what it is it's going to allow users or whoever wants to subscribe to it to like receive notifications around the KyberDAO voting, just like important events, because if you miss, like if you're voting manually and you miss a vote, you're not going to be rewarded, and that kind of stinks. So we definitely don't want users to like just be forgetting or something of the sort. So we definitely would, we want this calendar to be at least available for the user should they want it. So, can maybe help them, help remind them. So I don't have the link for that just yet. I'll be releasing that right after the call. Probably posted in the Discord here in general chat or other places as well, Telegram too. In addition to that, we have some third-party staking pools have beefed up a little bit. We got actually some good news about the Kyber community pool. We're actually live as of about 30 minutes ago. You can visit us at kybercommunitypool.io. I can link it in general here real quick. So we are still working on minor improvements to like the design and little things like that. So it's not 100% polished. We've been really working hard to get it out the door. I know if you're on Windows, there might be a little strangeness, I guess, to the font. We chose a font that is Mac only and have to pay for a license type thing. But long story short, it's just mostly cosmetic things. If you notice anything, and we're definitely going to be, taking care of those over the coming week or so. But again, if you see anything like unusual that isn't just like a minor cosmetic thing, like for example, right now it's showing that we're voting on for meowing, and clearly Kyber doesn't vote on meowing. So that's still got to update. I don't know why it hasn't, but yeah, the function's there. So if you want to check it out, feel free. I've got a post too, but you guys are hearing about it first. I haven't even updated the Twitter or anything like that. So if you have any questions about it too, or like maybe confused on how you might delegate to it, or what are the benefits, you can always reach out to me. I'll give like just a very brief overview of it. So basically it's a delegation staking pool similar to like some of the other ones that you may have seen. And what it does is it allows users to stake their KNC as they normally would, except having to like vote every epoch. So normally if you were going to go to kyber.org, vote every epoch, you'd have to make a vote, which is a transaction. So with the Kyber community pool, you don't have to do that. So you're saving on gas. In general, you don't have to vote every 2 weeks, which is great. You can just let the rewards stack up. And on top of that, like, we don't charge any fees. The entire purpose of this community pool is to design it around the community, right? We're not trying to, make this into a business or anything like that. We don't want to take money from the community. So we want it to be totally free. You get the same thing you would get if you're staking on the regular Kyber.org. And as far as like how we are going to vote as the pool itself, because you'll be delegating your voting powers to the pool. Really, we're just going to be voting in the spirit of the community. So, if the community is really leaning towards one thing or the other when it comes to voting, we'll likely side with the community. So a little early still, but we're definitely over the coming weeks going to be working on increased, documentation and just kind of like guides and stuff. I do have the blog post, which if I can track down quick, it does kind of show just how you can delegate to it and use it quick. But yeah, so finally live. Super happy about that. It's been 4 months in the making, so super great to see that. Let me just track down a Medium post real fast here. Okay, posted in general. All right, moving on. So we have some community concerns to address. So let's see. People. I'm looking at just some things that I've made note of over like just community concerns to bring up. We've got some from Hashspike, a community member, Justin, and the Hound, and in general, it seems like a lot of things is like due to volume, or like comparing dexes, and I guess like I don't really have anything much on a personal level to share here, but I know, I mean. Hold on. It does not right now. Opecular is asking if the community pool allows for batch claiming. In the current stage, no, it does not. This should be something that's very easy to implement. So, if it doesn't support it now, and like even if someone were to stake, once we support it, they could likely still use that. But in the current stage, no. So as far as the community concerns, a lot of it, like I said, around like volume or like losing and there's a great post which I guess we can go into in a little bit here, where I'll address some of these things, but it should be known, like Kyber is very focused on delivering a sustainable liquidity infrastructure. They put out a post recently about it. They're not focused on chasing these really short-term trends, that we've seen blow up in one night and die 3 nights later. And I did mention it earlier, over 100 million volume in October. It's continued growth. So it's not something I'm too worried about. It's definitely, worth bringing up, but there's a lot of stuff that we'll be going over in this call that might clear things up here in regards to that. Let's see. Oh, yep. You have voice permission now. Okay. I can't hear you, but I don't know. You were muted, I guess. But okay. So let's.
Hello.
Hey, we can hear you now.
Great. No, I just wanted. No, it was more like a general error where I got like I couldn't speak, so it was pretty much a monologue from you. Yeah, so I'm not sure if like the other members can chime in, can unmute themselves and chime in as well, cause otherwise it would just be a very one-sided like call. I don't really have much to add on to what you're saying. Just that good job, but I think there might be some issues with the dashboard when I'm trying to like delegate. So I'll send over like the error messages I'm getting. Yeah. But apart from that, you can continue first.
Okay. Yeah. You said error messages with what? Sorry.
With the website, the community pool website.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, I'll PM you. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you. So yeah, I mean there is a warning too. So, like I said, if you're having any issues, just maybe give us another one day. It's live, it's functional, but depending on your system. You might run into some things, but going back to community concerns here. So, it shouldn't be said, Kyber's obviously in this for the long haul. They invest tons of resources on research infrastructure. They're constantly, as I kind of just mentioned previously, they're not chasing those little short pumps. It's kind of a waste of time, waste of money. So they're they're going for what's sustainable, right? And they have a very good blog post which kind of goes over this more than I can here, kind of. So let me just post this here. There's concerns from Maple. What is the incentive of someone using KyberSwap when Uniswap is the main de facto standard? I'm asking as I am a little worried about Kyber losing its relevance. So yeah, this is kind of what we're touching on now, and I think the blog post that I just posted also does a really good job at explaining this. It is clear that Uniswap has more volume right now, but again, the post I showed, it shows that like there's more to it than just comparing volume month over month or something of the sort. Kyber is much more than just, hey, are we number one in volume? If not, then that's not good. There's a lot going on, and that post kind of shows what future plans and kind of addresses some of that. So some of the highlights.
Although, can you hear me?
Hey, yep.
Hey, Dennis here. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good question about why someone would have an incentive to use KyberSwap over Uniswap. And I think the most obvious answer is that if KyberSwap, or let's say Kyber Network, has the best price, that's where users will flock around. So in that sense, we're still super competitive with Uniswap. We haven't really lost our competitiveness there. And that's like, I think, the most important thing. And then the second thing is like in crypto and Ethereum, we have phases, and we saw like liquidity mining come up as a phrase, and we saw it like suck up a lot of the liquidity as everyone was putting it there to make these crazy returns on these like yield mining tokens, right? But now we're seeing that kind of phase drop down as well. But because we've been building for the last 2 years and we have a system that's not dependent on an automated market maker, it can use manual market makers, which we think are much, much more efficient than automated market makers. We think we still have an advantage there, right? So, and okay, volumes have dropped, but in the grand scheme of things, it was still like October volumes was still over 100 million on its own. So it's still not too bad, but it's definitely like gone down over the last 2-3 months. And this is because of gas prices. This is because liquidity mining kind of sucked out the volume. But I think overall, like, I wouldn't feel concerned. We've been building up so much expertise over the years, and now we have a few different initiatives that we mentioned in the ecosystem blog. We bring in professional market makers, and as long as we make sure that Kyber Network still has some of the best prices out there, then I think we'll keep on growing, and we shouldn't really be focused too much on this week's volume and last week's volume and how we're doing. The overall trend is still like upwards. We're still like 10x over volumes we were doing last year.
Yeah.
So that's my 2 cents on that question.
No, Dennis puts it really well. That's good. Completely agree there. Okay.
Although, I mean, just add, like, as a community, it's important that you guys out there kind of talk about it as well, use it, give us feedback, and just keep on staying engaged, because I saw like the last part of the question was, the worried about Kyber losing its relevance. And that's on all of us, to keep pushing, to keep talking about it, to keep being out there. And I mean, on our side, we're doing our best as well. We try and communicate regularly with you, either at least through once a month through the blog posts and more regular updates from Shane and the whole team. So I think we're going to keep staying relevant as long as you guys stay engaged as well.
Awesome. And just to add on to that too, like as far as like you guys kind of engaging and such, like at any time if you have any concerns or questions about Kyber, in addition to posting in our Telegram or Discord, you can always reach out to me as well. I'm always happy to chat with you or discuss anything as well. So just going to go over some Kyber highlights here. So we have Kyber, according to CoinGecko, it is the DEX protocol with the highest awareness in DeFi. So this is still really big. I know we were just discussing the concern about relevance. However, I mean, having the highest awareness in DeFi is, it's still a very good feature to have. So it's great that we're still keeping that spot. We concluded our Coinbase Earn campaign. So previously, if you're a member not a member, I guess, but signed up or used Coinbase, they have an Earn program, and it's basically like you can learn about crypto, or in this case, Kyber network, and by learning, you can earn a little bit of KNC. So it finally came to an end, and millions of users managed to partake in it. So that's really good to see millions of users learning about Kyber and just in crypto in general, really. So that was really awesome. Catalyst, which was the most recent upgrade or protocol upgrade, which is what kind of brought the KyberDAO into the scene, has been featured in over 100 media articles, virtual talks, been all over the place lately. So lots of reading material there. On top of that, KyberDAO has one of the biggest on-chain governance participation on Ethereum. So like we kind of talked about this a little earlier, how over 9,000 active participants over the last 7 epochs, and this is kind of just going back to that. Like that's huge. Having thousands of users voting, not only through pools and such, but like also the manual voting. So that's really great. And again, over 1 million in ETH rewarded. So really good numbers we're seeing out of governance, and it's really good to see. Going back to the sustainable liquidity infrastructure, kind of, the blog post I posted in general, what are the plans going forward? So we did have 2 KIPs, Kyber improvement proposals, or one is KIP 3 and KIP 4. So KIP 3, if you weren't following, is lowering the network fee from 0.2 to 0.1%. Now, this is like the overall network fee for every trade. So this is like this fee, the 0.1% or 0.2%, that fee that's taken is then split up, as you probably know, among the burn, the reward, the rebates. So that was recently lowered to 0.1%. And, this is, Dennis kind of mentioned it earlier too, like it is important to stay competitive. And so I think, this is one of those things, like definitely going to keep competitive. I think as far as Uniswap, I could be wrong here, but I believe it's 0.3%. So, I mean, there's a huge drop there compared to Uniswap, so that's good. Staying competitive. On top of that, the KIP 4 has enabled fees for bridge reserves. So there are many different reserves on Kyber. These are the people, providing liquidity, like the Fed price reserve. But the bridge reserve, they work a little differently. It's not, someone operating reserve, rather it's a bridge reserve that kind of like can pull liquidity from, say, different DEX. So a bridge reserve might be connected to Uniswap, and then the bridge can take or trade, DAI and ETH and BAT, say, on Uniswap. And so it can pull liquidity from Uniswap and kind of like, share liquidity almost. However, previously there was no fees for these bridge reserves. So, if this bridge reserve had the best liquidity and someone traded on Kyber, that's great, they're using Kyber, but then they're not producing any fees for the network. And this is what goes to the DAO. So that was actually voted on to enable those fees. It seemed it passed in very good support. And I see Shane actually posted a good little info overview as well. And that's really good. So if you want a little more understanding or detail, definitely check out that little info.
And Desmond, when does this go live? When do the effects go into place?
Sorry, which the fees is it?
Yeah. Or maybe you can just briefly explain, like, once something goes through, when does it become kind of live? Is it like instant with the next block, or is it like afterwards, or, and then just give us specifically for KIP 3 when it goes live.
Right. So with regards to changes to network fees, usually it will only kick in from the next epoch onwards. So let's say means we voted in epoch 7. And since the proposal passed in epoch 7, the new network fee should have kicked in already. In from epoch 8 onwards. Yeah, so it should have already taken effect.
Yeah, and is that something that's hard coded, like, or is it something that needs to be called like a function?
No, it is already. It's hard coded in the sense that the contracts have been customized to allow for this fee to be adjusted directly on chain without as long as we have created a campaign for it, the changes will take effect automatically in the next epoch.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, it does. Yeah, thanks for that.
Okay.
Yeah, if I did continue.
Yep. Okay. So upcoming plans for quarter 4 and beyond, and once again, kind of like the delivering sustainable liquidity infrastructure. And this is a really good section here to go over. So lots of cool stuff. We've got new professional market making frameworks. So Kyber has been working with the Chicago DeFi Alliance, and it's an alliance, of these big DeFi giants kind of working together. And so they have a new initiative for professional market makers, and it's the first of its kind. We have a blog post here. Let me just post it over real quick. I'm going to post it in general here. This is the only framework that, it bridges traditional market making. So, there's always the hurdle of getting traditional finance into decentralized finance. So this is actually kind of an initiative that's going to allow professional market makers to market make on chain. So that's going to be really awesome to see.
Yeah, we'll release more news on this soon. We'll release like much more information on what we're thinking about. But like in general, the idea is that we're seeing that automated market makers are pretty limited. So it's okay for an end user to go put in liquidity there. But then if DeFi is going to grow, there are professional market makers from the conventional world who are just sitting on the sidelines, who have no idea how everything works on chain, but they do have some level of expertise. They know how to provide the best price. So we want to bring them into the picture in a more prominent way within like Kyber network to see if we can, tackle that competitiveness, price from competitiveness from this angle as well. We think that's another key strength for us. So watch out for that. We'll release more information soon.
Yeah, just to add on to that, can you guys hear me? If I do,
yep.
Can you hear me? Okay, great. Yes. So if you take have a look at this blog post that DeFi just shared on the general channel, you can see that interested in entering the DeFi space and market making on chain, and they are definitely needed in the space because they provide a lot of value and liquidity if they come in. But right now, there's just no viable practical system for them to do that. And why is that the case? Because currently the only systems available are the AMMs, automated market makers, for example, like Uniswap, and on-chain order books. And both these systems have severe limitations for the professional market makers. There's no way they can use these systems and for order books, it's gas and capital inefficient for these PMMs. So later on, maybe later this week or next, we'll have more information regarding the new framework that we're coming up with that will address a lot of these problems for them.
We can also mention that our head of trading, who's like an expert on market making, gave a talk a few days ago in this Dystopia was it this conference, and he dives in for 30-40 minutes all about the difference between automated market makers and professional on-chain market makers. And I think it's really good educational material if anyone is interested in learning more about this, because it is kind of important within DeFi to know about these things. And I think we can share the link as well. Yeah, DeFi would continue.
Awesome, thanks. So going on with the upcoming plans, we're back to open reserve system. This is another thing that Kyber is focusing on. This would be, enabling innovation in the DeFi space. It kind of allows developers to create like new liquidity systems and pools that can be developed from day one. So right now, this isn't something that's not possible, but it allows for like many more types of reserves, or even automated market makers to be built using Kyber. So that's a huge thing. And then one here that I'm super personally excited for is permissionless liquidity. Basically developing a powerful new system that allows anyone, whether you're a developer or an average user like me or you, to contribute liquidity to Kyber seamlessly. So right now this isn't something that's so easy to do. If you're big into DeFi, it's a lot of people are trying to like park their assets places or just throw their liquidity into stuff. Like with Kyber, the way it's built, it's like it doesn't make it super easy right now for the little guy to contribute his liquidity. However, this is exactly what that aims to tackle. As it says, whether you're a developer or an average user. So that's going to be really awesome to see that further explored. Would be great to see some or the ability for anyone to put their liquidity in. And then another thing is growing the taker system as well. So not just like the market makers. It's important that the taker ecosystem is grown. We need more DApp integrations, which would directly influence this. Having Kyber in more places. And again, this is something that even you guys as a community could help with. If you're using a DApp and you see something and you're like, hey, maybe Kyber could be, integrated here, or even why isn't Kyber integrated here? That's something, feel free to reach out to them or even us or me and just say, hey, I use this really cool DApp and I noticed that Kyber's not on it. Definitely reach out. We would love to explore it and see what we can do there. So we're definitely working to address the community concerns. So I just one last time I want to reiterate, feel free to reach out if you have any concerns again to us. We're definitely still working very very hard on what's to come in the future of Kyber. So I'm super excited on my end. The next thing we can go over would be giving the KyberDAO more control over token listings, which once again, something that I'm super excited about. We want to, give the DAO more control basically. So there are a couple things that we could do immediately that don't really need a whole lot of, big technical changes. And two of those things would be to allow the DAO to vote on adding new reserves and new tokens as well. So the token listing process isn't governed by the DAO, and this is kind of like something that, is what would be focused on, as well as reserves. So, and that's pretty powerful as well. To, it's just one more step towards like the true, fully on-chain decentralized, like run by the DAO governance vision that Kyber would like to see. So that would be really awesome for that to be explored. We do have some community suggestions as well and proposals just over on our Reddit. So we've got a community proposal by Mars 1977. Just take a look at it here. I mean, I could probably just share these into general. They're just on the Kyber subreddit. And one of these, the second one here, is the Uniswap style airdrop for Kyber users to stimulate more awareness. I don't know the exact outline for this. I'm not sure if they mean like, hey, should we generate new KNC and then reward those like who have used Kyber. I think that's what they're getting at, but nonetheless, it's worth exploring. Definitely keep up on the subreddit to follow these types of things. It's always, with governance picking up and stuff, it's always important that, we take these proposals and thoughts and just community suggestions important, but link them in the general chat. There is a little bit of a format guideline too. We're kind of I wouldn't say follow, I guess. So I guess I could post that in general too. Is this the guideline, Shane, that we're generally sharing?
Yeah, feel free to share that. That's just one style that we can follow, but in general, we just want to encourage the community members to share their comments on Reddit or on Discord. Obviously, it's better if it's structured in a way that is easily understood by most people, instead of just a general rambling of what your idea is. So this is something we proposed, but feel free to adapt, edit it, and adapt according to your needs. So just to quickly address these two proposals that were posted on Reddit. The first being about layer 2 adoption. So not sure if you guys were around, those of community members who are listening to the call now, around in the first call, Loy actually did mention and even before that we are actively researching layer 2 solutions. It's obviously at a very early stage, but we have a team in Kyber Network that's dedicated to looking into layer 2 solutions, because gas costs are definitely a problem, as you can see from the whole DeFi summer yield farming craze period. So we are already actively looking to layer 2 solution, but thank you for this proposal, Mars 1977. And for the second link on having Uniswap, Unistyle airdrop for Kyber users, I assume you mean like how Uni tokens were airdropped to all Uniswap users. The thing is, Uni is a new token for Uniswap, as a new governance token for them. For Kyber, we already have KNC as our governance token, and at least in the short term, I don't see this as something we can do. One thing we would like to focus on is a sustainable liquidity infrastructure, right? We keep, DeFi Dude has also mentioned it countless times earlier in this call. So what does it mean to be a sustainable liquidity infrastructure? Is not to focus on kind of short-term yields that come from tokens, right, that are just airdropped to users, but on the actual tech, the actual fundamental infrastructure that will yield a lot of benefits to our users over time, by enhancing liquidity, by providing more liquidity sources on chain, by allowing developers to create different types of liquidity pools and reserves that could be plugged into the network and enhance overall liquidity. So all these contribute to long-term success for Kyber Network. Of course, if we want to have some kind of short-term promotion, we can do this, but all these won't be sustainable. These, if we just create new tokens out of thin air and airdrop to Kyber users now, it will create some short-term hype, but it's definitely not sustainable. And that is not the direction that we want to go towards. We want to make sure that our fundamental tech is good. And in the future, if we create certain products, certain systems that require a new token, we'll definitely consider that. But right now, our full focus is on long-term sustainability. And yeah, so just to encourage community members once again to really feel free to just submit proposals on Reddit and on Discord. And on these community calls, DeFi will definitely pick them up and discuss them. We have always been listening to the community. As you can tell from our recent UI UX improvements for the KyberDAO, when people needed wanted to reduce their gas costs, we provided an advanced gas option so you can use low gas to vote and to stake and to claim rewards. Obviously, it will be a slower speed, but you can save on some gas. We provided many different third-party staking pools, like the Kyber community pool that's launched today. When you requested for a button to claim multiple rewards from multiple epochs, we also just developed it, and our dev team managed to do it in a very short span of time. So now you have a claim all button where you can claim rewards from up to 12 epochs, which makes things very convenient. I think DeFi Dude, after this call, he will create a voting reminder on the Google Calendar. So this is something that he suggested, and I think it's a really good idea because anybody that subscribes to his calendar basically gets this Google reminder. And you can also follow us on Twitter and on Telegram or Discord for very regular updates about the KyberDAO. And yeah, we are definitely keeping up to date with the DeFi space. We know that our volume has been increasing, but in relation to maybe other protocols or other platforms, yes, our relative share is decreasing by a little. But as you can tell from our upcoming plans, our short-term focus definitely is on enhancing liquidity for Kyber and for DeFi. And this will come in the form of a professional market making system that will bring in market makers that are not present in the DeFi space today. And we are the first to do this. We will have an open reserve system where we will encourage the development or an innovation of new reserve types. Right now, people are only aware of a few AMMs. Even if the new AMMs that are propping up, in total, they're like maybe less than 20 different types. But it's our belief that there could be hundreds of different types of liquidity provision methods, and our open reserve system allows that kind of innovation to take place. We are also looking at creating a permissionless liquidity system where anybody can contribute liquidity, like how they're used to with Uniswap already, but with huge advantages over the typical AMM model. And yeah, so we will have more information on all these initiatives later on. So these are what we want to give you right now is a teaser of that, and to just let you know and assure you that we are definitely on the ball when it comes to the trends in the DeFi space. Yeah, DeFi, maybe you want to continue?
Yep.
I'll wrap things up.
All right, so I think I've covered a lot of the stuff that I had initially noted, so I guess now would be a good time to maybe just open the floor quick. If anyone has any concerns, it doesn't even have to be specifically KyberDAO or governance related, but yeah, if you have any questions, concerns, or anything you just want to discuss, feel free to open the mic and ask away. All right. Any questions? Let's see. We have Epoch 8 has been started, but BRR 8 is not up yet. Bo is posting in general. It should go live within 24 hours. And again, I know Shane mentioned it too, but like right after this call, I'll have a Google Calendar set up. So if you're like me and you forget things all the time, you can get some nice little notifications for when BRRs go live and new epochs start. So just to remind you there. But I mean, I've got nothing else. Shane, did we have anything else to add on to this?
Nothing from my side. I think Maple42 is typing. I'm not sure whether he has a question.
Sure.
DeFi Dude, since you're
11.
like a community member, why don't you answer this question from your
Well,
perspective?
I feel like if I said 10, you guys might think I'm a little biased. So just because there's always, a little room for improvement for anything in life, honestly, I'd have to give it a 9. And that's
We'll take it.
But it's true. I mean, Kyber's like, so if you don't know who I got in this space a few years ago and I started with Kyber, and Kyber is like the first project that I really got into, and obviously I'm still here. So, it's been great. Great people, great team, great project. Honestly, I've always been confident. So,
Yeah, I mean, personally, I've been following Kyber even before I joined. So I've always been confident. A lot of why, a big part of the reason why successful projects got where they are is the team. And our founders have always been very upfront with the team members and with the community. The recent blog post on delivering a sustainable liquid infrastructure was put forth by Loy, and he has always been up to date also with what the community is saying about Kyber and their concerns. So that's why he decided to push out that blog post. And personally, I feel very confident in Kyber, definitely. And like last year, what we realized is a lot of projects in the space actually follow what Kyber does. We were the first to start, aggregating liquidity from multiple sources, and you see after that we have a lot of different aggregators that pop up. And last year we were one of in fact I think we were the first big DeFi project that actually came up with this new token model, which has that involves governance, right? And right now we are one of the most successful DAOs in existence, and you see a whole plethora of different projects coming up with governance tokens. So actually, Kyber leads the trend in some ways. And if you can see our upcoming initiatives, we believe that we will be leading the next few trends in DeFi as well. So follow Kyber really closely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I can just sum up, it just sounds like you're saying over the last 2-3 years, at whatever stage of growth we were at, we always had a good plan for the next 3 to 6 months, and we always delivered on those plans. So, I mean, personally, that's why I'm so confident in our future, whether it was Catalyst, whether it was integrating into dApps before that. We have a team that can kind of carry these out, and we have a great community, and we're in a great space. DeFi is growing. So that gives us a lot of confidence for the next 3, 6, 12 months ahead.
Awesome. All right. Well, I don't really have much else. So I guess we can at least go over some of the closing stuff. Again, these are community calls. We're gonna try and do these monthly. I think we're aiming for like maybe the third week of each month. Not a specific, same day, same time every month. So just again, follow Kyber on Twitter, Telegram, this Discord, wherever. I'm sure you'll hear about it.